And we are ready to begin. Hello!
Hi!
Hi, everybody. Can you see us? We're here.
I'm looking at the camera.
Welcome to another edition of Torn Book Club. I am your host, Josh, aka Saruman, and with me is a guest who I've been hoping to get on the show for a while now. This is one of my dearest friends in the whole world, Amy Solomon. Formerly Amy Hirschman.
Yeah.
You'll notice we have a new little banner down on the bottom of the screen that sort of gives all the info for the show. This is mostly just for people watching the archives later on, and also just to let everybody know you can call in. We've got our Skype line open. We've got the hotline open. We've got you can call or text to that. We've got our chats on both Ustream and Justin TV going, and so this is shaping up into a much more interactive experience. And so let me introduce you all to Amy. We have a very long history, actually. We met through theonering.net.
Yes, we did.
At one of the Baggins picnics 9 years ago.
Yeah, 9 years ago.
9 years. And we also worked together at CBS, working on all those wonderful Blu-rays that I talk about.
And DVDs.
And DVDs. Yeah, you do a lot of the DVDs. I'm doing mostly Blu-rays now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we met at that picnic, and we've been friends ever since.
Yep. And she's also the reason I wasn't able to go to the Oscar party this year.
Oh.
Because she was kind of getting married.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So you'll notice in the banners we have Twitter handles for everybody, and Amy's name is Amy Solomon, but her Twitter name is still Amy Hirschman. Her maiden name.
Sorry if that's confusing. Good to meet you too, Jan.
That's Jan.
Jan. Sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, these are all the people in our chat. Who do we have? We got Eravandi, we've got Ava, Temple, Rovandir, Jan.
Nice to meet you, Eruvandi. That's who said good to meet you.
Yes. And Jan said hi as well.
Yes.
So today I brought her on to discuss our book of the month, Miss Peregrine's
Home for Peculiar Children.
Oh my god, I totally forgot the name of the book.
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
There we go. There. It's up on screen.
And it's by Ransom Riggs.
Yes. And Amy is the one who actually turned me on to this book back when it first came out. Partly because it's totally to our tastes, and also because Amy has an interesting connection to this book. You have a book out through the same publisher.
Yeah, well, a book that I translated.
Yeah, but it still counts. Here is that book. Amy translated Crafting with Cat Hair, which is it's a Japanese book originally. She translated it from the Japanese, and it was put out by Quirk Books.
Books.
Who also put out Miss Peregrine. And I'm always amused by this because this book has a really fun following on the internet of people just going, oh my god, I can't believe this exists.
Yeah, it keeps popping up in niche websites.
Yeah.
And
well, it was just on BuzzFeed like last week.
Oh yeah, and the Wall Street Journal called me to interview me. Mm-hmm. And I still have never met the actual author of the book. And it was actually originally two different books, which were combined into one.
The one.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you were doing it, you were translating two books, and so I thought, okay, when's the sequel coming out?
Mm-hmm. So Quirk sent me a free copy of Miss Peregrine. So that's how I got my hands on that, and then I read it, and I adored it.
It really is fantastic.
Oh, and Josh and I got to go to a signing and talk by the author Ransom Riggs. A couple of months ago, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when the sequel came out, when Hollow City came out.
Yeah. That's what he was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll talk more about him, about what's going on with that sequel and film Rights.
film of it, yes.
Yeah. Later.
Let's see. Rovandir is saying, well, you can do it with sheep hair. You can do it with
cat hair or human hair.
And I Stole the One Ring is here. Hello, I Stole. So yeah, you can do it with human hair, and I've mentioned it before that I volunteer at a Victorian museum, and we actually have some of the old human hair crafts that used to be all the rage back then. We have them on display. It was like part of like funerary traditions to make lockets and wreaths of the dead people's hair.
That's kind of creepy.
It's incredibly creepy, and there's there's one on display in one of the houses, and every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, that belonged to somebody who died 200 years ago.
It's a nice memento.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Temple says, I have so much hair that you can make a lot out of what comes out of my hairbrush.
Why are we grossed out by hair when it's not on our head?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's beside the point.
It's a weird thing. But you translated a book about it.
Yeah.
Which is fun. So that's that's Amy's story for the most part. And so I brought her on so that we can discuss our book of the month, Miss Peregrine. And of course, since it is the first of the month, it's so crazy. It's so great that we're able to do a show on the first of the month for once.
That's cool.
Yeah, because normally it just has to be near the first of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And so since it is a new month, we have a new book of the month. And this is probably going to be the least surprising book of the month I have ever announced.
Is it Game of Thrones?
It's Beowulf by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is it came out. It officially hit shelves last week, and now we're reading it.
Wait, Tolkien wrote Beowulf?
He translated Beowulf.
Oh.
This translation is 90 years old.
Wow!
And it's the first time it's ever been in print.
It's amazing.
And so this is a big deal for Tolkien fans all over the world because Tolkien was one of the first people to translate Beowulf. He was one of the first people to lecture about it and bring it into the public zeitgeist. And Temple is saying, well, you told us last week. Well, I whispered it last week.
Jan. Sorry, again. Doesn't know a lot about the Beowulf thing. Someone tell him exactly what it is.
Okay, well, Beowulf is an Old English poem written in, and it was used as by Tolkien as an exercise in a translation of Old English, and it was used by other language professors at the time as sort of a translation exercise, but Tolkien was one of the first people to translate it and go, there's actually a story here, a story that should be told. And so the basic premise of it is it's about a character named Beowulf. It's kind of like a superhero story. It's told in 3 parts. The first is he rescues the village of, I can't even remember its name, but he rescues them from a creature that's been terrorizing them named Grendel. And the second part is he fights Grendel's mother. And then the third part is he fights a dragon and meets his ultimate demise. And so it's enjoyed a very long life of being told and retold and made into movies. Yes, Hervandi is saying, was the giant's name Grendel? Or spelled a little wrong, but yes. And so Tolkien was one of the pioneers with getting this story out, but his own translation of it has never been published until now. And so with that, because it is such a classic, I'm going to be dedicating all of June to the classics. So next week we're going to be discussing Shakespeare. I've got another week where we're going to be discussing Sherlock Holmes, which is relevant because of the Benedict Cumberbatch connection. And I have some guests who are going to be coming on for that. Temple is saying, I think a lot of the film versions of Beowulf tend to focus on the battle with Grendel and his mother and not the whole story. And that's very true. And the most recent one, the CG one that Robert Zemeckis did, like, probably about 10 years ago, does go beyond that story, but sort of, like, ties them all together in a very weird way with Beowulf basically sleeping with Grendel's mother, and she gives birth to the dragon, which then comes to wreak revenge on Beowulf, who is now king. And so the dragon is his son, which is very weird. I don't know if that's in the original text. I deliberately have never read the original text because I've been waiting for Tolkien's version. So this will be a first for me. And I have started reading it, but I've been reading mostly the notes. Because there are lots of notes in this about the translation, and it's a fascinating story in and of itself. But we'll save that for when we discuss it at the end of the month.
Sounds good.
So for now, let us talk Miss Peregrine.
Okay.
So, I'll get started. Pardon me.
Oh, excuse you.
I loved this story. I thought it was very strange, and it was very, well, for lack of a better word, peculiar. It had some interesting characters. There were a lot of things in it that I sort of felt didn't work as well as other things.
Maybe we should say what it's about first.
Yeah. So the story is about a boy named Jacob. I can't remember his last name.
Does it matter?
Not terribly, no.
Okay.
And he was raised pretty much being told all these stories by his grandfather about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and all the different children that he grew up with and all their strange abilities. And you will see the cover features a picture of a girl who is floating in midair.
And what's cool about this book is that it's full of these types
Portman is his name, okay.
Portman, okay. What's cool about this book is that it's full of these photographs of the peculiar children, and I don't exactly right now remember the story behind all these weird photographs.
A lot of them, many of them had stories, but a lot of them didn't. They were just things that he found in a trunk.
Yeah.
So some of them are not given any real context.
Yeah, so his grandfather told him about all these weird characters, and
he grew up believing that this was real.
Yeah, so he got sent for psychiatric help a lot when he was a kid, which is something that, yes, I'm sure you might resent. Maybe I'll get a little closer.
Yeah, go for it. I was going to try to grab some of these graphics to put them up on screen, but didn't really have time.
It's a floating baby?
Yep.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so what was it? So his grandfather was telling him all these stories, and he grew up believing them. But as he got older, he started realizing it was probably not real, and he was given a very different narrative of his grandfather's life, about how he spent time in concentration camps, and basically had like this very tragic life during World War II, and that it was explained that he created all these stories as sort of a coping mechanism, and he sort of spends like a lot of time sort of feeling betrayed by that, like he had been lied to.
He has a certain amount of anger towards his grandfather.
And I mean, like I'm not a big fan of Jacob as a character because he's very much like the overprivileged white kid.
Yeah, but there's also an attitude of, oh, poor me.
Yeah, there's a lot of like he's very teen angsty, and I mean not without reason. He was raised believing a certain set of stories, and then as he enters adolescence, he's told what you have believed your entire childhood is not true.
But I think his grandfather, before he dies, gives him some kind of warning.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's where the whole story starts, is his grandfather is basically killed by one of these creatures that he's been telling him about for all these years.
And nobody else can explain how he died.
Right.
You're just like, oh, he was old.
Yeah, it's like he was old and yet somehow was eviscerated.
Yeah.
Apparently that happens in old age. You just spontaneously get gutted.
My intestines.
And so, but Jacob is the only witness to this, and so he becomes obsessed with learning the truth about Miss Peregrine's home and what actually happened there. And so, because overprivileged white kid, he convinces his parents or his dad to take him on a vacation to Wales, to the island where Miss Peregrine's school is.
Doesn't his dad? Am I wrong in saying that his dad has some kind of business there, so he just takes him with him?
I think he used it as an excuse.
Okay.
Because he runs what, a drugstore chain or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a CVS or a Walgreens.
Yeah.
And so he used that as an excuse to basically go and set up some meetings to expand the franchise overseas. I think
that's right.
Something like that.
But why? I don't remember why he went to this small Welsh island.
Because that's where the school was.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. That was the excuse.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I read it, to be honest.
Yeah. So he goes and finds a school, and he's being told the stories from all the residents who really the island and the residents sort of reminded me a little bit of an H.P. Lovecraft story. The Terror of what is it? I think it's the Terror of Innsmouth or something like that, where basically a guy shipwrecks on an island, and the entire island is made up of people who have been mutated by a demon.
Rovandir says his dad is using it as an excuse for looking at rare bird life to write a book about them.
That's right. Yeah, the bird life thing. Yeah.
That's right.
But, I mean, the real reason is so that he can look for Miss Peregrine's home for peculiar children.
Yeah.
And basically, he talks his dad into it, basically playing to his own vanity, or, giving him an excuse to take him there.
Besides the peculiar children, one of the coolest things about the book is time warping.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, how can I talk about this without spoiling it for people too much who haven't read it?
Well, I mean, it is a book discussion, and we're going to have to talk about it because, he sort of discovers that probably about halfway through the book.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, we won't get into, how it ends or anything like that, or some of the other reveals that happen at the end. Mm-hmm. But I think the time loop thing we can talk about. Okay. Because it's kind of what Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is all about.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's being told this story that from all the people on the island, that the school was destroyed in the Blitz in World War II, and everybody who lived there was killed.
Yeah.
And so and so he goes and explores. He finds the ruins of the school, and stumbles upon a trunk of these old pictures, the ones that we're seeing in the book. And part of that is he was also given a lot of these pictures, or shown a lot of these pictures, by his grandfather growing up. And so that was sort of the evidence that all of this was real. Because I sort of like the idea that goes through most of the book, that maybe all of this is just in Jacob's head, and he had his own psychotic break when his grandfather died, and so he's been sort of creating this illusion.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I really like it just being magical.
Yeah. So
the way it is.
So the big thing is he finally discovers what is going on with the school. I won't get into the details of what happens, but basically what is revealed is that Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is a place that exists within a time loop.
Yeah. That's cool.
From the day of the Blitz, the day that the school was destroyed. And all the kids in the school are basically living out their lives in this perpetual childhood, living the same day over and over and over again, But they're doing this because they have these special abilities and they need to be hidden. And hiding them in time loops is how it's done. And all of this is managed by Miss Peregrine. Mm-hmm. And part of me was like, this just sounds like the worst kind of hell I can imagine. Because basically you're reliving the same day over and over again. And the day ends with your home being destroyed. Every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine how you could... Like, and it's like Groundhog Day, where like you keep your memories through the whole thing, and so these kids have been there for like since the war. Many have been there since before then. Like they were transported there from another time loop area. So like you have people who have been in this time loop for hundreds of years.
Don't they reset the time loop right before the place is bombed?
Yeah, I think they do.
Would this book be considered sci-fi or fantasy?
I would call this fantasy.
Okay.
I would probably file it under urban fantasy.
Urban fantasy?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's
enlighten us, Josh.
Urban fantasy is like fantasy that exists within our own world.
Okay.
Kind of like Harry Potter. Kind of like the Dresden Files, and it's one that's gaining a lot of traction in literature these days.
Urban fantasy.
Yeah, so yeah, I sort of felt like the time loop itself just feels like absolute hell to me. Like, yeah. I mean, I think the time loop does reset before the bombing.
It sucks.
Like right before the bombing.
Yeah, I mean, I think for at least maybe. The first year, it could be kind of like you're in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like you just feel like you're insulated or protected or just like, oh, I get to live forever. But do they die every day or
No, they don't die.
Okay. So yeah, it could just feel kind of safe for the first year or so, year or two. Mm-hmm. Then after that,
it also like I mean, I refer back to Groundhog Day because that's the movie everybody knows when it comes to time loops.
Oh, yeah, there's another one like that coming out, Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that comes out next week. That actually looks pretty good. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. Ava is saying, I really want to see how they make the bombing scene in the movie version. Yeah, I'd be curious to see that, too. And last week we were sort of discussing, like, casting for the movie.
Oh, yeah, speaking of the movie... So, I don't remember, it says on Wikipedia who it's going to be written for the screenplay by, but it's going to be directed by...
Tim Burton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Ransom Riggs, when we went to see his talk, was saying that he feels like that's the perfect choice to direct the movie version of his book. And, yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean... Tim Burton's more recent movies, like, I mean, you sort of question them a little bit, like, as far as quality goes. Like, I thought Dark Shadows was terrible.
Yeah, and the most recent, the Alice in Wonderland that he did,
I didn't care for that either.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I was a huge Tim Burton fan back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, me too. But, I mean, like, he still did, like, really good things. Like, I loved Corpse Bride. I still haven't seen Frankenweenie, but I've heard that's really good.
No, that was good, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, when's he going to do something original?
Like, but I sort of feel like if he were to go back to, like, maybe, like, his style with Big Fish, this could be a really fantastic movie.
Yeah, because this has got sort of the same feeling as that.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel like Tim Burton is a director who is absolutely capable of making a really good Miss Peregrine movie. Speaking of which, I learned that... Fox has sort of subtly put out that they're slightly changing the title of the movie from the book.
To what?
Instead of it being called Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, it's now being called Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiars.
Oh, why? Because...
Which makes sense because they are called peculiars in the story.
Oh.
And I kind of like that because... when you take the children part out of it, then you see, because a lot of these people, a lot of the children in this are people who have been alive and learning and researching and growing personally for decades.
So they're
or
not
centuries.
Really children in their head anymore.
They're children in body, but not in mind.
Which is really creepy when you think about it, because what does that mean for puberty?
Yeah.
Like, do they ever... Do their minds develop like adults? Or do they... I mean...
I don't... Well, I mean, like, there are some characters in it who are definitely, like, mature and wise beyond their years. Mm-hmm. But then there are others who sort of, like, just want to live, like, eternal adolescence.
Yeah, because, I mean, as you grow, your brain develops, too. And with that comes... maturity, I guess.
Emotional maturity. I think. Yeah,
but I guess if their brains are, I'm thinking way too hard about this. I think.
We don't want to overthink this too much. So the thing we haven't talked about is why they're being hidden, and it's because there are these other creatures in the world called wights and hologas.
That's wights is spelled W-I-G-H-T.
Like the Barrow Wights from Lord of the Rings.
Probably where he got it.
Perhaps.
There's actually
we just noticed this like flipping through the book.
Yeah, I don't know where it is exactly, but he found some runes written somewhere, and there were a bunch of letters and numbers.
Here they are, because basically they have a map that has all of the different locations of all the different time loops encoded.
Oh yeah.
And so they have these different. They have a letter and numbering system, and one of them is JRR.
Yeah, followed by some numbers.
Yeah, 1/4/1797, which is the date that it loops. Ava is saying, "I felt the Peculiars acted more like children than adults, and they did. Yeah." I sort of feel like being in a time loop, you sort of also get stuck, like, maturity-wise, living the same day over and over again.
Yeah, because nothing around you changes, not even...
It's sort of like the dark side of Never Never Land.
Yeah. Are they not allowed to go into the town? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, it seems like they're not allowed to go into the town, like, because when they do, they have to sneak around.
Because people will be like, why do they always look the same? Who are these kids?
I think it's more just to keep them from going insane.
Oh.
Because, like, they would go into the town, they would see the same thing happening over and over again. Or, like, you would try to take advantage of that. Like, like in Groundhog Day. Like, you're able to predict everything, so you can, like, take advantage of what's going to happen.
But it's not the same day for everyone in the town, is it?
Yeah.
Everybody who's not a peculiar as well?
Yeah. The entire day loops for everybody but the Peculiars. So everybody else in the town, they are not aware of the loop because for them it's just one day.
Okay. So for his dad gets caught in it too?
No. No, his dad is not caught in it. So Temple is saying they probably psychologically are producing the same hormones adolescents produce, and their prefrontal cortex has been pared back, so they're still going to make some rash decisions, but they'll have a great deal of knowledge as well, so it could temper it a bit. That's
interesting.
That's a very good point. Rovandir, oh god, the chat's going too fast.
No, this is good.
Well, I'm missing stuff.
Just scroll up.
No,
okay.
Scrolling up is difficult.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah. But they go to the town
once in a while to make ravage, from what I could read. Yeah. One of the kids was writing down what happens every day and for every citizen animal. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There was that one kid who was writing them all down and like sort of like creating like the most intricate record of this one day.
Yeah. They've got it all down.
Mm-hmm. The Invisible Kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's right. It's been a while since like either of us have read it. We like, I think we both tried to like review it again, but I'm like, I'm reading the sequel now, and I'm also reading Beowulf, and there's a new Dresden Files that just came out. So
okay, this book came out in 2011, so it's probably been like 3 years since we read it.
Yeah. So like we've just been doing like some like quick catching up before the show, just so that we don't sound like complete idiots.
But I just remember the feeling I got when I read the book, and I was so enthralled.
Yeah, it really does draw you in, which I did really like.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some people who have like criticized the book as saying that it's too gimmicky with the pictures.
Yeah, I like that about it.
I like it too. And Ransom Riggs has like said very publicly that the pictures started as a writing exercise. Like the whole thing started with him having all these different pictures and trying to create a story around them.
Yeah.
And as a writing exercise, it's fantastic, and I think he's created a really fascinating story out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't want to go into too many of the events of the ending, but basically, their simple, perfect world that is hidden gets upended.
Yes.
And so the sequel, Hollow City, picks up right where that leaves off.
I'm thinking of possibly rereading the book before I go read the sequel, since it's been like 3 years.
I found, like, when I was reading it, I'm not that deep into the sequel yet, but I found that as I was reading it, a lot of stuff was coming back to me as I went. What were we?
It went way up to the top, the chat. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, this is why I don't like to scroll.
Oh, okay. Like the pictures, it sets the mood. I think people who can write stories around pics are very talented. It's a really good writing exercise.
And yeah, like having, I find like the best stories come from like really good writing exercises, because like that's how Ben came about. Was just sort of trying to answer the what if question of what would a founding father act like if they were to see our world today.
Which I thought was pretty accurate.
Well, thank you. I don't know how accurate it was. I tend to think that I was playing a little fast and loose with the facts, but
well, we just don't know unless he gets here.
Ravander is saying I tried something like that when I was a kid. You mean like writing a story around like a bunch of pictures?
Yeah, I think that's what they mean.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was a kid, in middle school, we had really good English teachers, and they had us write in something they called a day book.
Okay.
Which it was really just a notebook, and we had to write nonstop, just write for like a half hour straight or something, and then turn that in as homework.
That can be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the more imaginative people will probably write lots of really cool things. I would imagine your daybook was full of all sorts of weird ramblings.
Yeah, it was. And also lots of stuff about X-Files.
Of course, yeah. Yes, Amy is a big X-Files fan.
Yeah, except I haven't seen the season 8 and 9 because... bleh.
Well, because...
Sorry, Nyela, if you're watching this. She loves it all.
Yeah, I was okay with Doggett, but Reyes can burn in hell. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say about that.
And it's interesting that we mention X-Files, because I feel like this book could be a good X-File.
It could. It absolutely could.
Oh, someone's asking me if I like The Dark Knight Rises.
Don't you go there, Jan. Don't do that, Jan. This is a long...
Wait, is this someone that knows me?
No, this is a long discussion that Jan and I have every week.
The answer is no.
He makes fun of me for not liking The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was bad.
No, we've had this discussion. I did not care.
I'm Batman.
What was that? I'm Batman.
I wasn't in most of the movie.
What was that again? I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Awesome.
So, yeah, let's Jan is saying, you are choosing the wrong guess. No, I'm not.
Taeko says, yeah, it does have X-Files feel. And so, Josh and viewers, how do you think that Mulder and Scully would go about investigating this?
Well, I think...
Interesting question, huh?
I think Mulder... well, the way to get into the time loop is you need to go through, like, some sort of, like, like sort of mud hut or something like that, like out in the swamps. I feel like Mulder would immediately throw caution to the wind and go right in there. And meanwhile, Scully would be interviewing everybody in the village, trying to get like the best story or trying to figure out what happened. And then, you know, like later on, she will be like, "Where's Mulder?"
Yeah, and then she'd have to go rescue his ass again.
Yep. I was just rewatching an episode that was pretty much like that. Triangle.
Oh my god, I was so mad about that one.
Because you have to talk about that.
I was writing a comic book. I was like drawing it as I went. And then I look at next week's episode. It's called Triangle. And they get lost in the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm like, no!
Because that was your story. You were writing a story about them getting lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, in this episode, he doesn't get lost in the Bermuda Triangle. He gets lost on a ship that came out of the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, okay. Well, mine was a little different, but it was still called the same thing.
Yours was called Triangle,
yes.
too? Oh, man. But it was like the same thing. Like, Mulder just like goes right in there, and of course he gets caught in a weird temporal schism. And meanwhile, Scully is like trying to get a team out there. She's working with the lone gunman. She's having to do like end runs around like her supervisors.
Yeah, I could definitely see this becoming an X-File.
Yeah. So Temple is saying, one of the things I really liked about the book is how even with the fantasy elements, it felt like it had a strong grounding in reality. It was relatable. It was. It absolutely was. Like, that's the one thing that I liked about like a lot of the characters in this is that they're all people who have like different abilities, but they all have their own like quirks and idiosyncrasies. You have the one kid whose name I can't remember, who is basically sort of like creating his own like little army of dolls and toy soldiers and
was
stuff like that.
Was that Victor?
That might be Victor.
We were trying to remember who Victor was.
That could be Victor. The one who is like basically taking like little like mouse organs and putting them in dolls and
so
granting them life.
So creepy. He's like a little... That's why his name was Victor!
Ah! We just figured it out!
Frankenstein. I feel so brilliant right now.
I know, right? Pardon us while we have a moment of victory on that one. We just figured it out! Wouldn't that be funny if Victor Frankenstein was a peculiar child this whole time?
Yeah, but then how could he have grown up to...
Maybe he goes back to his own time. Oh, no.
Don't think too hard about this one.
Oh, Temple is saying no, his name wasn't Victor. Ah, damn.
Oh, we were so proud of ourselves.
Oh, no. Oh.
Okay, Tycho, tell us what was his name? Enoch.
Enoch, that's right.
Oh, I thought we were so clever.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So much for that idea. Okay, so it wasn't Victor Frankenstein. Never mind.
But is Enoch a name from the Bible?
Yes.
What is the Hebrew name for that?
I don't know. I don't know the story of Enoch.
Okay. What wasn't his name? Yes,
you
are all correct. We are wrong.
Temple is saying I don't think there was anyone named Victor. But
there was.
There was somebody named Victor.
Yeah, there was. It's in here. And I'll look for it later.
So yeah, like I thought like this was very creative. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with the hologas and the whites, and how all of the children are... Victor was the dead guy.
The dead guy? He was like permanently dead? Well, wait. When you're dead, you're permanently dead.
It's a time loop. Anything's possible.
Oh, okay. Enoch was an ancestor of Noah.
That's right. That's right.
Victor was the dead guy.
The dead guy. Okay.
Can you remind me about that?
I don't remember.
I'm so bad.
Somebody please enlighten us onto the dead guy. Was he dead? And...
Oh wait, Victor was Bronwyn's brother who wasn't quite dead.
Okay, right, okay.
He was almost dead. Or how do they say it in Princess Bride?
Mostly dead.
Mostly dead.
Mostly dead means slightly alive. All dead? Well, there's only one thing you can do with all dead. Go through his pockets and look for loose change.
Nice.
So the Hologas and the Whites are basically like trying to take over the world, or they're trying to use the Peculiars to take over the world, which is why the Peculiars are hidden in these time loops. And like there are time loops all over the world in different locations and at different times, which is why they have that that runic lettering and numbering system. But I mean, like, without giving too much away, this book ends with their particular loop being attacked and destroyed. And like the whole thing that Jacob discovers about his grandfather was that while all of the other children at Miss Peregrine's all come from different times or have been there for a really long time, and they are no longer of the time that they came from, his grandfather actually is of that time.
Yeah.
And so he eventually leaves and goes to live his life after like having sort of a budding romance with the one girl, Emma.
That's right.
Who she then has a budding romance with Jacob, which when you think about that is super creepy.
Yeah. We're kind of giving away the end here, but I guess that's what comes.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I'm eating an orange. Sorry.
I'm drinking coffee. Whatever. Excuse me. I'm okay. We do this a lot. We're like brother and sister almost. So Temple was saying not much happened with Victor in the story, which is why I didn't remember him.
Makes sense. Probably why we didn't remember him either.
Yeah.
Probably laid there most of the time.
Probably. Just going, oh.
I'm mostly dead.
Can't really move anything.
Can't move my body.
So yeah, the story ends with Miss Peregrine's school being basically getting knocked out of the time loop. I won't say how, but it basically ends with all of the kids, Jacob included, now out of the loop and sort of on their own. And so the question becomes, what happens now? They have this information. There was an attack. Something is happening. Things are escalating. And,
are these kids going to grow and age?
And that's what the second book is about.
Hollow City. Ooh. Yeah, when the sequel came out, I had forgotten about the Hollows, so now that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And the summary of Hollow City is that they go to London.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm really looking forward to reading that, and then probably as soon as we finish the book, I'll begin it. I'll let you know when I begin it.
Okay.
As soon as we finish that, we should have another show.
Yeah.
About the sequel.
Well, we could do that.
Yeah.
Temple is saying, can I just say how much I like Miss Peregrine and how much I wish he'll build on her character? I wanted to know more about her. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's kind of mysterious.
I loved Miss Peregrine. I loved her as a character. I loved the mystery about her. I love that she was like she starts out and you think like she's this very like stringent schoolmarm type character, and then you start to realize that she is like holding back the maelstrom pretty much. Mm-hmm. I think last week somebody mentioned Emma Thomas would be a really good...
Emma Thompson?
Emma Thompson, sorry. Emma Thompson would be a really good choice to play
her.
Oh,
yeah. She would be perfect.
She would be a fantastic Miss Peregrine. And like I was thinking like maybe Helen Mirren or somebody like that, who I think would also be good. And then somebody else, I can't remember who, mentioned, as long as it's not Helena Bonham Carter. Which I kind of have to agree.
It might be, knowing Tim Burton.
Exactly, which is why I'm like, oh god, I hope not. Because, I mean, Helena Bonham Carter, I think, can have good gravitas, like if you see The King's Speech or something like that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to her working with Tim Burton, it's kind of the same thing with Johnny Depp. They sort of become like this feedback loop of weirdness. And suddenly what you have is quirky weird instead of something that is actually substantial.
Yeah. She's a really good actress. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Ava is saying, I kept imagining Kate Mulgrew as Miss Peregrine in my head, like when she was on Voyager.
Oh, is she the captain?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's an interesting choice. I think Kate Mulgrew in the Voyager years would have made it for a very interesting Miss Peregrine. I think now, probably not so much.
Eru Vandy asks, has Emma Thompson worked with Tim Burton yet? I don't think so.
I'm trying to think. Nothing is coming to mind that I can think of off the top of my head.
She was Nanny McPhee.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be too close?
No, because Nanny McPhee was very cartoony.
She was like...
Yeah, she had like the weird buck tooth.
Yeah, and some kind of mole.
I feel like Nanny McPhee was kind of like the goofier version of Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it or read it, so I don't know. But she would be... I could picture what she would look like as Miss Peregrine, so just saying. Yeah, not now, but when she was a bit younger.
Regarding Kate Mulgrew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Ava. She would have been a really good Miss Peregrine back then. But back then, Miss Peregrine didn't even exist. Mm-hmm. Aravandi says, I saw both Nanny McPhee movies and I like them. I've only seen the first one and I didn't dislike it. It just didn't really like strike me as anything like really great. I mean, Emma Thompson was fantastic, but she always is. There
are a lot of stories about like the outsider, like the outside caretaker. I think this is what do you call it? A theme or not a genre, but maybe a theme.
Trope.
A trope. Thank you. Where you have the outsider female, usually caretaker, who's mysterious, that comes in to solve the problems, or save the children, or something like that, or save the family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's Mary Poppins, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mary Poppins, Nanny McPhee. And that's what I thought Miss Peregrine would be at first, but it really wasn't.
No, she's something else entirely.
Yeah.
Which is what I like so much about her.
Are there? Yeah, go ahead.
And I think like, if you have her cast right, if it's directed well, like Miss Peregrine could be like one of the more compelling characters that we see on screen. In I think they're scheduling this for a 2016 release.
Okay.
It can't be 2015, not at this point, and also 2015 is way too full.
I'm trying to think of other characters like that are like, what could you call this? The mysterious caretaker.
It's as good as anything else. Aravandi says, speaking of Mary Poppins, has anyone seen Saving Mr. Banks, and what did you think of it?
I saw it. I thought it was extremely sugar-coated.
It's a very sugar-coated version of the story.
Spoonful of sugar helps them.
I know, right? I loved it, even though knowing that this was a very sugar-coated version of what actually happened. Like, I mean, there were mysterious benefactor. I don't know if mysterious benefactor is really the best term for that, because it sort of implies like somebody helping you out financially, which is not what this kind of character does.
And also, they're always kind of on a line between good and evil in a way. Like, Mary Poppins was not evil, but she was
strict.
She was strict, and she was sort of bucking the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aravandi says, I found it a little sad, but also sweet.
Okay, yeah, I cried while watching Saving Mr. Banks.
I did too.
Yeah.
I admit that. And like, and I mean, I know the story of like what really happened. And like, I mean, there were lawsuits. There was so much animosity between them.
Drama!
And, like, no, it wasn't just drama. It was like straight up hate.
Ooh.
Like, both Disney and, P.L. Travers like went to their graves loathing each other.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's not how it was in the movie.
No, it was not.
Happy-go-lucky Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tom Hanks was a great Walt Disney.
Yeah, he was. I missed all of that because of the dumb Velveeta commercial.
Yeah, there are commercials that come in every now on the live feed. That's okay.
I'm so sorry. I like cheese if it helps.
Velveeta was not my choice. Well, we were just talking about Saving Mr. Banks. Mm-hmm. I thought the cinematography, the storytelling, the acting, the casting was all fantastic. But of course, it's a sweet sanitized version of what really happened. And
Jonathan's weighing in. He can't get in the chat.
Oh, okay. What did he say?
Jonathan
is her husband.
Yeah. He says, it took a really great take from the Disney point of view and pissed on her grave.
Wow. Okay. It's quite a strong sentiment. Ava's
maybe a little.
Ava's saying, I really don't want to see Saving Mr. Banks. Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go in knowing that this is not really what happened, it's a very enjoyable movie on its own merits.
Yeah.
What the other thing is,
because I have so many precious childhood memories of the Mary Poppins movies.
That's understandable.
Yeah, me too.
And I do too. Yeah. And I mean, it is cool, seeing sort of how they create some of the musical numbers that are in the movie.
I like those parts.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun.
Yeah. But I want to keep us on Miss Peregrine.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I was about to go on a totally
if
other
Miss
tangent.
Peregrine was going to be a musical, what kind of musical do you think it would be?
Whatever it is, Danny Elfman would rock it.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining something sort of quirky, creepy, like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Creepy. Did I derail?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. What was I going to say? The one thing I will mention about Saving Mr. Banks, and this is my own personal thing. There's a scene in that movie during the flashbacks, during P.L. Travers' flashbacks to her father, when they it's towards the beginning when they're saying goodbye to their hometown. They're about to leave to go to end of the line Australia, and they have this cheerful saying goodbye to the neighborhood and everything like that. That whole scene, that whole neighborhood, that's Heritage Square Museum.
Oh yeah.
That's the Victorian Museum that I volunteer at.
Volunteered.
So just if you watch that scene, all of the houses, they are the houses that are in that museum. They're redressed for the movie, but those are all of the houses.
Now that would be a place to spend a time loop.
That would actually be pretty cool. Although a lot of those houses come from very disparate times themselves.
Oh, okay.
Aravandi says, are you talking about the play Into the Woods? Somebody mentioned, Temple was saying it could be like Sondheim, like Into the Woods. A musical version of Miss Peregrine. You know what? You're probably right, Temple. That would probably work a bit better. Although, having seen what Tim Burton has done with Sondheim, I want him to stay as far away from that as possible. I was not a fan of Sweeney Todd.
No? Oh.
Not the movie. I love the play.
Huh.
The movie I thought was god-awful.
I'm sorry, Josh. I will be right back after these messages.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we're coming up on the hour soon, so...
So
be fast. Be fast. Yeah, we're coming up on the hour, and we're going to have to keep this one to an hour this time. So, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Miss Peregrine. I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel. The parts that I've read have been really good so far. Of course, now I need to stop that and read Beowulf, and also try to get a head start on the book of the month for July. Yes, I've already picked it. I'm not telling you until the end of the month. Okay, are we talking about Into the Woods in the chat? Okay, my college's theater program did Into the Woods play, and I went to see it. It was hilarious in the first half, but depressing in the second half. I got emotional whiplash. Yeah, that's kind of how Sondheim seems to work. Like even with Sweeney Todd, like I sort of felt like the first half of Sweeney Todd is very dark and very brooding.
Sorry.
But the second half is almost whimsical up until the end. Like I felt. So.
Sorry.
What?
Jonathan just commented on the fact that I just went to the bathroom.
Oh.
It's okay if we go 10 extra minutes because of that.
Okay. So, Jan is saying, off topic, how big is the screen that Josh and Amy are looking into? Josh should totally do some behind-the-scenes photos. I should. And I will. It's a good size TV. Oh my god, your phone is going crazy.
No, forget it. Okay.
It's a good size TV.
What would you say? That's like almost 50-inch, or is it 50-inch?
It's a little over 50-inch. Yeah.
If you gotta go, you gotta go. I was trying so hard.
I know. This is... Oh, Amy. But, yeah, we're coming up on wrapping this up, I guess.
We'll go another 10, 15 minutes.
So what did you think overall of Miss Peregrine?
Oh, overall? I thought it was a really interesting, well-written story. I guess I was so glued to it because it reminded me of the kinds of books that I would read and get hooked on when I was a kid. When I was, I don't know, anywhere from... Just say a kid.
Yeah, a kid.
Yeah, the stuff that would really take me away to another world, and that's how I felt about it. LOL. If you
gotta go,
Temple.
You gotta go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Poor Amy. So yeah, I liked it. I agree. Like this is a very engrossing story.
Yeah, and actually, that's what I told Ransom Riggs when I met him. That it really made me...
Name dropper.
You were there.
I know.
Exactly. I told him what I just told you guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he took it well.
Yeah.
He seemed like a very friendly guy.
Yeah, he seemed a little shy. Mm-hmm. But happy to...
I mean, his talk was interesting. Like, he was talking about how, of all the pictures that are in this, he's got thousands more.
Yeah. Wow.
That he's hoping to utilize.
You guys should look him up and see what he looks like, because he looks like he was drawn by Tim Burton.
He kind of does.
Yeah. Just how he looks.
Yeah. He does sort of look like a character from a Tim Burton movie.
Can you imagine that? Like, being a fan of Tim Burton when you're a kid growing up, and then you grow up and write this book, and then he's making a movie out of your book? How mind-blowing would that be?
It's kind of the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that very much. Temple says there's a picture of him in the paperback version of the book.
Oh, well, also in the hardcover.
Well, of course there is.
On the back sleeve.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that particular image of him is very Tim Burton.
Yeah, very dark shadow.
Yeah.
Although
in this picture he doesn't have a beard now.
I'll just
now
show
he has
it.
a beard.
He has a beard?
Yeah.
Not when we went to see him.
Yes, he did.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. You see that? Yeah, he's all skinny and lit like a film noir.
Yeah. Jan is saying, hopefully a good movie then.
I hope so.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what Tim Burton does with this movie. It's definitely one of those books, like, I could visualize the movie very heavily while I was reading it. Does the hardcover have the Q&A at the end? I found that really interesting.
Q&A.
I don't know.
No, it has a... It has an index. It has an index of all the photographs and where they're from the collection of, and it has the page numbers they're on, and it has acknowledgments.
Yeah, just like author's note stuff.
Yeah.
But no, the Q&A isn't there. Jan is saying I never read The Strain, but a trailer was recently released. Did you see that? Yes, I did. I thought it was very cool, very in line with the book. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And Eva N says, my favorite part of the book was the riddle Jacob's grandfather left him. Find the bird in the loop on the other side of the old man's grave. That's so cool. Yeah.
It's like, it sounds so bizarre until like you hear it in context, and then you're like, oh, okay, actually every bit of that makes literal sense. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really cool. Because it does... Temple is saying, if you have a chance, read the Q&A. He talks a lot about the photos.
Oh, well, there's a trailer already?
No, this is a trailer of The Strain.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much like just a 30-second spot. It's not very big. It doesn't show too much. But we do get our first look at... David Bradley as Abraham Satrakian, and it's kind of perfect.
Oh, okay. I haven't read The Strain. So. Yeah. But David Bradley is a great actor.
Yeah, he is, and he will do a really good job in this role. It shows it's mostly like quick shots, giving like sort of a quick overview of the events of the story. And if you hadn't read the book, a lot of it wouldn't make sense. If you had read the book, you can pretty much pinpoint just about everything you see. Mm. So I'm looking forward to that muchly.
This is a great book, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow. I had to do that. Eva, am I the only person... Jan says, Eva, am I the only person who's been wondering what color the BOFA soundtrack will be?
Battle of the Five Armies.
Oh, okay, we're talking...
that's a
Hobbit reference. Yeah. Okay.
Ava's saying, I'm going to Google the trailer after this for sure. Yeah, you can find it anywhere. Just, like, punch it up on YouTube. It was up on IMDb.
I have a totally off-topic question. Mm-hmm. Just because this is something that Josh and I constantly quote, the bad lip reading for Game of Thrones. What does Khaleesi say? She says,
"Oh,
dragons." She says,
"Oh, what?"
She doesn't say dragon.
No, she doesn't talk about dragon. But Beth over drinks.
I want to do it. But Beth over drinks, and then she gets trashed and rolls my socks. But I eat shrimps. Sorry, you have
This is the. Since we work together, we're constantly on IM with each other, and we are just throwing quotes from this back and forth all the time. It's the bad lip reading of Game of Thrones.
Just go on YouTube and find it. It's hilarious.
Jan is saying, someone on the message board suggested it would be a white soundtrack. I feel like that would jar too much with everything else.
What's that mean?
Well, like all the soundtracks sort of had like their own signature color.
Oh.
For Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I sort of feel like I feel like a white one would not work that well. I feel like it would jar too much with the overall color scheme.
Eravandi says, "Hey, my name is Beth." Oh,
whoops.
Yay! Yeah, but I think snow is going to be a big part. Okay, we're on to the Hobbit.
We're on to the Hobbit. Yeah. We'll talk about the Hobbit at some point, but we should probably start to bring this to a close. I feel like, Jan, bring that up with Cliff and Justin on Torn Tuesday one day, just to hear their take on it. I'd be curious to hear their take on that. So we're gonna bring this to an end. Thank you, Amy, for coming.
My pleasure. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's good to get a refresher on the book.
Thank you for introducing it to me in the first place. Thank you, everybody, for Ravani saying, "We're not that we're Hobbit obsessed or anything." I know, right? Like the Hobbit. What's that? Best part of Torn Tuesday is when Justin is teasing Cliff about DOS. Oh God.
Desolation of Smog.
Yeah, they have very differing opinions on it, and like we all went to the preview screening of Desolation of Smaug like 2 days before the premiere. Mm-hmm. So like we were one of the first people to actually see it. And afterwards, like, boy did we talk. It was a humongous conversation, just getting grievances out, ranting and raving about the stuff that we liked, because it was me, Cliff, Justin, Kelly, and Alex from Happy Hobbit, their mother, and Larry, Mr. Sayre. We all went to see it. I think that was all of us. Yeah. And so afterwards, we all get together and just like spent hours just discussing it. And yeah, Cliff was not happy. I was much more forgiving of its faults than Cliff was. But I mean, we've talked about this. I did my 3-hour review of Desolation of Smaug. But yeah, I would be interested in hearing what Cliff and Justin have to say about the soundtrack color scheme. So Jan, that is your mission. Ask them about that on Torn Tuesday. Tell them I sent you. Thank you all, everybody, for being a part of this. Ravandir, Aravandi, Ava, Jan, I Stole the One Ring. Who am I forgetting? Temple. Amy, you were a great guest. Almost Batman.
Nice.
So okay. I will see you all next week. Again, just a reminder, even though you probably all know it and are reading it already, the book of the month for June is Tolkien's Beowulf. And next week, we will be discussing Shakespeare as part of Classics Month. So that should be a lot of fun. And
thank you, Josh, for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad I was able to finally con you into being on the show.
Con me into being on the show. Okay.
So, Ravander is saying, might not be here next week, but we will see. Jan is saying, I might actually read the book this time.
Yes, read it!
No, I think he's talking about Beowulf.
Oh. Okay. Read Beowulf.
Although you should read Miss Peregrine, too.
Yes.
Temple saying, just to let you guys know, the next huge Maker Faire is in New York in September. Yeah, that's... first of all, it's New York, and that's hard for me to get to. Second of all, that weekend is Baggins Picnic weekend.
And I might not be here.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so thank you, and we will see you all next week. And never stop reading.
Never stop reading.